those chuckers. All right, Master Weapons is getting started. Couple of things. First things first, so get bowed in. Please teach me. All right, and teach me. Okay, all right, now, I've got a very, very important shout out to my parents that have been keeping I know Liam, and I've been seeing Brandon. There's a bunch of other Master Weapons students that I have not seen. Shame on you if I have not seen you, or if you have not gotten a chance to watch class. Honestly, call me blunt. You have no excuse with all the time that you have in your hands. So in other words, either you're digging ditches and planting fence posts. Maybe you're out there in the amidst the jungle with no internet connection. You have an excuse there. But if you're not participating, or at least participating in class and then saying, I watched the class and I participated in class, you got no excuse, you got no foot to stand on. All right, so I got that out of the way. Now, on a positive note, I did see some really, really good foot work and leg work involved in the stances. I saw Liam with his stances. I think I saw Brandon out there. The legs are starting to bend. It looks much, much better. And I know some of you guys don't get a chance just to go back. You don't get a chance to watch it later in the week. That's fine. Just make sure, please, 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 put your name in the comment section at the very end of the video, at the very bottom of that page. If it's on a phone, it's all the way underneath all that stuff. It's at the very bottom. And if it's on the website, it's right underneath. Just type your name so I know you took class. Helps me know that you're interested and that you're invested in that you're training. Okay? All right, but I did see some improvement with the stances. So the thing that we're going to do today is going to be, we're going to spot focus on levels of practice. And we're going to spot focus on being able to transition things off of hand rolls. And that might be one of the techniques that you're trying to make better. All the more reasons to focus on hand rolls.
Say so.
Okay? So first things first, we're just going to get, I'm going to say about a minute of light practice. Yes, now, this is not light practice. Show me some light practice, Mr. Ben. Okay, that is not what I mean by light practice. Yes, so in other words, a soft song. Yes. Something that's got a little bit of lift to it, okay? So, this is not how I typically chuck. I like to get enthusiastic. So all my moves are very light, but the shapes are definitely there. Yes. Even hand rolls need shape. Okay, so first 30 seconds, we're just going to chuck for a little bit, and then we're going to change it up just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little space over there so I don't hit you and you don't hit me. Yes. All right, so if you don't have a chuck with you, I did see a couple of chuckers in there. Please make sure that you got plenty of room around you, because when you go crazy, I want to have Harold. All right, so nice, easy practice. All right, got some movement, and the stances are still strong, so you're moving around, practicing some basic shapes. You got one-to-ones. You've got some downward figure eights. All right, you've got some 1-to-3s, and moving around, looking good. Okay, that's close to 30 seconds. And okay, so how did that look? Does that mean that it was an ineffective practice? Not necessarily. Again, when you have a soft song, my interpretation of that is I've got to match the music that's playing. And sometimes the pace is slow, sometimes the movement is soft. So that's how my practice would go. Now let's ramp it up just a little bit to where we have ourselves something a little bit more energetic, but we're not going quite crazy yet. Okay, so here's an example of something in the middle. All right, moves around, got some extra moves, got some tighter moves, got some 8 straight going, nothing too crazy. Okay, cutting the wind a little bit. 30 seconds, and if you don't have a chuck at home, then please feel free to move your hand as you would with the chuck. All right, so let's see what you got. Moving around, got some clutching, okay, maybe a throw. All right, there's one, dropping, sweating. Okay, nothing too amazing, just, energize a little bit. Maybe a close, hand off, maybe a wheel. Okay, and good. All right, and a catch. Good job. Oh, okay. That's not typically how I practice. Me, I like to get into it. Okay, when I say get into it, I'm saying I'm swinging, and I put a lot of energy into each of those moves. Well, if you were in our black belt class, we practiced some soft moves, we practiced some hard moves, and then you got moves that are in between. That doesn't mean that you're only going to practice hard or only practice soft. But right now, we're going to give you an example of hard, and listen to the sound of the chuck. I probably won't do certain moves when I go fast like this. I'll put a throw in there, you know, my finger flips and my finger rolls, I tend to keep out of those guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is like demo version, Chuck.
Yes,
all right, 30 seconds. Ready to go? Ready? And foot closing in. Oh, give her some. And you got a chance to look at her eyeballs. They might have been like this. Because let's just call it this. The awareness of this thing, you know, where is it in space? There's times where you're kind of relaxed. You're like, let's zoom in on Mr. Ben's calm. This is his relaxed face. This is my relaxed face, huh? I'm just chilling, you know, chucking nicely. Right? But when you get into that hard, the intense version, it's almost as if you got to open everything up. And I think my camera lady, Miss Joanna, can completely understand when she goes into her bow staff kata that her eyes go boop. And if you took a picture of her eyes or my eyes, there's a reason behind that. It's trying to collect as much information because this is threatening you. In other words, it's spinning around and you're like trying to keep track of where are things in space, where's this thing? So let's call it survival mode, all right? So we can consider that when we practice our martial arts. There's times, let's put this down for a second.
Right.
Okay. There's times where you might find yourself, you know, off a punch, you know, nice and relaxed when we're practicing in a relaxed manner. But then there's other times you're going to have to be like, okay, I'm ready to go. So no, this is not an exact example of someone punching at me, but he's a threat to me, and this is a threat to me, and I want awareness of him and awareness of this thing, okay? All right, so I'll go and grab your Chuck there.
Yes, sir.
So the thing that I want you to practice at home is different levels of practice. I would like soft songs, you know, something, you know, like gentle, but appropriate to, you know, keeping you moving.
Yes.
Mr. Andy used to give me classical music to have to do this too in the backyard, and he would make a mixtape for me. There was a mixtape at one point. I remember that. Some of you kids don't know what a tape means. It's one of those old things that have the spinny spin things. You know, nowadays you just download the MP3 and, you know, pop it on your phone. But then there's also times where you've got to go hardcore. So part of the homework, the first part of homework, is going to be give me a soft form. About 30 seconds of just softness, but not lazy. 30 seconds is not, well, it's moving around. And, you know, if you guys got, you know, the chance to do some of your scarves with the black lights, some of those songs had to be, you know, I'm going to say slowed down because of the scarves. And then the next 30 seconds is I want everything from you. I want the hardest. I want to hear that Chuck sing as if it was like slicing the air into molecules. All right, taking carbon dioxide and oxygen, just splitting atoms. You know what? That's what I want.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. That's first part of the homework. Yes, we can split atoms with a Chuck.
Sorry, sir.
Second thing, all right, hand rolls. Hand rolls.
Right.
Okay. All right, first things first. Let's go back to basics here. With this hand roll, one of the things I want to make sure that you can do is be able to turn this hand over and grab that part of the Chuck. So for my guys that are having trouble with the hand roll, I encourage you to get back to this basic. Say, all right, you know, first off, it slides. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to slide it and get it to that hand. And it's the hand that you'd be turning over like this. Okay, 1, 2. Now let's change it a little bit. Nothing really changed. I'm just changing where it is in relation to me. So this was in front of me. Here goes. Rock, rock, rock-a-bye, rock-a-bye baby. Is that the song? Right? Okay, let's try it out here. Rock, 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 and I got it. Okay, this is important. Nothing is different about those 3 rolls. Everything is the same. So as I'm practicing my hand roll here, we feel safe. We feel like we're in control. Well, if I was to be out here, okay, well, I'd say this is a little out of center. That doesn't mean that I can't do it. It just makes it more difficult, okay? The same thing all the way over here. I don't like doing hand rolls out there, me personally, okay? I like to do them where they're close to me, just like I would like any other technique. So when I'm practicing it like this, the goal is I can get a hand roll here. Here's the tough one. This is the same version. I'm just going over the hand. And you notice my hand. If you could, you know, when you watch the video, even if you're in class, I encourage you to go back to the video that we post and watch my fingers, right? My hand opens in its entirety. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep the Chuck attached to me, all right? if I don't do that, first off, well, my thumb caught it. Oh, I got lucky that time. All right. If I don't open it up, it tends to kind of have it misbehaves. So the thing I want you to remember is that when you open the hand, it gives it a little bit more time to stay in contact. So that way, by the time it gets all the way around, you've got it. You want contact with the chuck. What we're not doing is we're not doing this. We're not throwing. We're not losing contact. All right, so let's continue with what we're going to focus on. All right, we're going to try to make a hand roll and go into shapes. So hand roll into downward, and we're in a negative grip. Hand roll into upward in a negative grip. Hand roll into whatever you want. Downward, upward, doesn't really matter to me. But here's the important part, is I want the hand roll to be a multifaceted tool. I want a shape that you can work around with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow it up just a little bit here. And I'm going to do a couple vertical 1-2s, a couple of downward 1-2s, but I'm going to use the hand rolls to get into it and out of it. All right, so here's my hand roll coming from the side. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do downward figure 8. All right, now, we talked about the finger flip technique for now. That's fine. Back to a downward figure 8. Okay, now I'm going to go over here. Hand roll, upward figure 8. And then I'll use my finger flip to kind of cheat my way back. And I wouldn't call it cheat necessarily. Okay, and here's the one I'm super careful because this is the one I feel really good with. And then I got my hand roll ready. Go, okay, all right, then I got another upward figure 8. All right, that's all great. So we have a hand roll with some ratios. Let's change it up just a little bit. Now, what if I was to change it to, I was doing a hand roll downward? This one's going to open things up. When I point my fingers down, the likelihood of your chuck losing grip is higher. So I need more movement. So when I do this, you can't do it slow. So I'm going to still open up my fingers. I'm going to go here. Whoop. All right, get really close. I don't want to hit the camera. Ready? So I'm going to go here. So I have to hold on to it, and I'm not doing this. I'm not trying to toss it and then try to catch it. It's still staying attached to me. If I open up my fingers the same, I'm getting my fingers to spread, increasing the contact, and then coming back to grab. And this is where I would use this. Hand roll. Okay? Hand roll. Now, if I've got that hand roll, here's the opposite. I've got to get it back. So you guys already understand that when we do this version, this downward figure 8, we have a hand roll, and then you have this version, you should be good at both, get into it and get out of it. Well, then that should apply to this thing too. If I can go this way, I can go back to it. If I can go this way, I can go back to it. If I can go this way, I can go back to it. And the thing about going back to it is, you notice that sometimes my pinky does some very interesting things. Your pinky gets in the way sometimes for some of these hand rolls. So if you watch my pinky, and again, try to focus just on the little piggy. As I go this version, it is out. There's sometimes, if you've ever noticed, where I get my pinky out of the way. If it has a big distance to travel, you younger guys, you smaller hands, you're gonna have an easier job with this than those guys with the bigger hands. So there's times where I will let the chuck come across, and I'll get my pinky out of the way just to make it easier. All right? It's really hard to do slow. All right, one more time. I'm just helping it. Okay, back into negative grip. Okay, and so what we're going to practice is the hand roll in conjunction with other things. So I want your slow version of your chucking and your fast version of your chucking. And then I would like a couple examples about how you're using hand rolls. And I've got a bunch of different versions where you have yourself, this is the vertical one in front, this is the vertical one on the side, this is the vertical one over here. Well, what are you going to do with that? Okay, this is the horizontal one. And if you want to get really fancy, then you can try one above your head. This is the one above your head. Don't drop it on top of your head. Okay, you've got a bunch of different shapes that you can practice with that. You've got worked 1-2-3s that you can say, oh, I can do a hand roll there. All right, and I can finger flip out, and then I can hand roll here. And then I could do the wheel. Okay, and then I could clutch, and then I could do a hand roll here. There's an upward figure 8, and then I'm going to switch it over there, and then I've got a clutch. There goes my head, and then bring it around, and then I clutch, and then I do a hand roll again. So the whole point is this, is that what you're doing is you're saying, what can I do with my hand roll? I want ratios, but I don't want strictly just ratios. I want to see that you're going to put the hand roll in there. All right, Mr. Ben, you're up. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to wrap things up with as many hand rolls as you can get in 30 seconds.
Sure.
All right. Now, Mr. Ray, you're working on hand rolls. Okay. Are you the best at hand rolls?
Yes.
Okay. Can you do them with your eyes closed or your hands behind your back? Hopping on one foot while singing happy birthday.
No.
Both hands behind your back.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So for 30 seconds, I want to see how many hand rolls you can get. That means that you're not just simply just doing hand roll, hand roll, hand roll. Okay, I'm going to count them out. Guys, don't sweat dropping them. That's how you get good at it. Okay? All right, ready? 30 seconds. Go. Here's one. Good. And there's two. Good. There we go. And three. Oh, there we go. That's a fancy one. And four. That's it. Don't sweat it. And five. Very nice. And I'm waiting for six. Good. Looking good. Seven coming up. There. Oh, we got one above it. I don't know what time we're at. Oh, that's okay. There's a drop. It's live television, folks. Oh, there's another one. There's another drop. All right. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and break. Give Mr. Ben a hand. Well done. Okay. All right. So would you say that you got between 6 and 10? Somewhere in there. And again, don't sweat the dropping part. That's the part that you would say, you know what? How many hundreds of times have you dropped it? All right. All right. The only difference between the person that's been doing it a long time is they've just dropped it more. That's all it is, really. It's not, well, they got really successful real quick. No, they went through the same drop seeds. Okay. All right. So the homework again, I want a soft, gentle, beautiful expression. As if I just said, here, Mr. Ben, this is fuchsia. Here's the color of fuchsia. Paint me a fuchsia painting. And then, whatever color that you want, soft. But then, give me some red. I want to see, get some grit to it. And put some music on it. I'd like to see what kind of music you're going to choose to go crazy. And then I really would like to see at least a 30-second set of you doing hand rolls. I'm not interested in you getting 50 hand rolls in 30 seconds. I'm just interested in you getting a couple and showing me that you've increased your skill set with hand rolls. Okay? All right, any questions at home for anybody? Any Master Weapon student? Yeah. Got Brandon, I got Liam in there. Anybody else? No? Okay. All right, I'll have to hunt them down with, a threat of, that's right. All right, let me see the pinky. Okay. All right, so make sure that you guys are keeping the chucking up. As a matter of fact, as we transition through this, no doubt that you're going to find yourself learning things that I can't teach you. Because I guarantee, if you're picking up the chuck, you're learning something. If you're not, well, then you already know where that goes. If you don't put it in your hand, it's going to learn. As a matter of fact, there's a negative transfer. Like it's just sucking the life out of you. So during the time where we switch over to staff and sword, if you don't pick up the chuck, it has the same kind of effect. It's just like not getting on a bike and then saying, oh, you know what, I'll ride it 2 years from now. Well, how good are you going to be 2 years from now? Same kind of thing. Any questions? No questions. All right. Keep up the chucking, guys. Work those hand rolls. Bring them into me on the video. Can't wait to see it. One sound. Ready? Chuck. And thank you for teaching me.